I wanted to talk a little about Claude's prison escape and his time on the run. Almost nothing is known about his year of freedom, but I've picked up a few stories from local ranchers that nobody really wants to talk about on video. The first story that I heard was that he walked all the way from Caldwell to a rancher home near New Princeton. In reality, the initial escape from the Idaho Correctional Facility was east of Kuna on Easter Sunday, 1986. To hike to Caldwell in a prison uniform at night would have taken him through Boise, a dangerous undertaking at any time of day. Here's my own armchair ideas on his escape, although I'm probably wrong. I think he escaped from east of Boise and hitched a ride up to Caldwell to get new clothes. That this happened on Easter Sunday shows that there was probably a plan and that one of his friends was in on it. From there, it would have been as simple as following the road to Oregon that passes Jordan Valley, the gateway to the Hawaiis. But that's the only road in the country that passes to all of his friends and folks who would help him. They were all in eastern Oregon. So in my mind, Claude Dallas knew that the cops would be swarming every road headed west, so he quickly hopped the road, probably no further west than Marsing, and rucked through the mountains. This is a country filled with obsidian and sharp volcanic rock, so naturally he would have arrived with tattered shoes, just as I was told.
Behind me now is Steens Mountain, and it's a famous local landmark because it dates back to the Range Wars, to the French Glen Cattle Company and the P Ranch, which was owned by one of the cattle barons that basically controlled all of eastern Oregon. And by the 1970s and late 60s, it had passed down ownership to the Alvord Ranch, which is one of the largest ranch operations in the country, and it just so happened to be where Claude Dallas first picked up work. And he immediately made a name for himself, and as I was talking to a couple of local ranch hands, they didn't want to talk on video, of course, because it's a sensitive local subject, but apparently Claude was walking along the edges of the lake. It was a hot day, and they said, "Why don't you go take a dip?" And Claude says, "Well, I don't know how to swim." So one of the ranch hands reaches out and shoves him right in the water. Well, Claude immediately dog paddles to the surface, and he's gasping for air saying, "Why'd you do that?" And they said, "Well, we just wanted to see how fast of a learner you were." So the lake nowadays is dried up, and this probably dates back to, in the 1970s, a lot of this land went over from private ownership to public ownership after a horribly mismanaged flood that the Bureau of Land Management basically used as an excuse to gobble up all the land around here. Lake is now dry, but I believe it might be filled seasonally, and this is where Claude Dallas learned to swim.